Shalom, and welcome back to the Cepher Daily Readings. Thank you so much for stopping by to follow along. And all praise and glory to the Most High Yah, Yahuwah, or Yahweh, in the name of the Son, Yahweh Shai, or Yahusha, and in the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh. I am Trish. I'm sorry it's been some time since I've been with you. We are now back in the States from our trip in China. It was a wonderful experience, and thank you, Most High, for allowing us safe passage back home. And so let's pick up from where we left off. We are in Yashar, Jasher, in chapter 70. And in the third year from the birth of Moshe, Pharaoh was sitting at a banquet, when Alparanith, the queen, was sitting at his right, and Bathia at his left. And the lad Moshe was lying upon her bosom, and Bilam, the son of Beor, with his 2 sons, and all the princes of the kingdom were sitting at table in the king's presence. And the lad stretched forth his hand upon the king's head, and took the crown from the king's head, and placed it on his own head. And when the king and princes saw the work which the boy had done, the king and princes were terrified. And one man to his neighbor expressed astonishment. And the king said unto the princes who were before him at table, What speak you, and what say you, O you princes, in this matter? And what is it to be the judgment against the boy on account of this act? And Bilam, the son of Beor, the magician, answered before the king and princes, and he said, Remember now, O Adoni, and king, the dream which you did dream many days since, and that which your servant interpreted unto you. Now, therefore, this is a child from the Ivri children, in whom is the Ruach Elohim. And let not my Adoni the king imagine that this youngster did this thing without knowledge. For he is an Ivri boy, and wisdom and understanding are with him, although he is yet a child. And with wisdom has he done this, and chosen unto himself the kingdom of Mitzrayim. For this is the manner of all the Ivriim, to deceive kings and their nobles, to do all these things cunningly, in order to make the kings of the earth and their men tremble. Surely you know that Abraham, their father, acted thus, who deceived the army of Nimrod, king of Babel, and Abimelech, king of Gerar, and that he possessed himself of the land of the children of Heth, and all the kingdoms of Canaan, and that he descended into Mitzrayim, and said of Sarah his woman, She is my sister, in order to mislead Mitzrayim and her king. His son Yitzhak also did so when he went to Gerar and dwelt there, and his strength prevailed over the army of Abimelech, king of the Pelishtim. He also thought of making the kingdom of the Pelishtim stumble, in saying that Rivkah, his woman, was his sister. Yaakov also dealt treacherously with his brother, and took from his hand his birthright and his blessing. He went then to Padan Aram, to the house of Laban, his mother's brother, and cunningly obtained from him his daughter, his cattle, and all belonging to him, and fled away, and returned to the land of Canaan to his father. His sons sold their brother Yosef, who went down into Mitzrayim, and became a slave, and was placed in the prison house for 12 years, until the former Pharaoh dreamed dreams, and withdrew him from the prison house, and magnified him above all the princes in Mitzrayim on account of his interpreting his dreams to him. And when Elohim caused a famine throughout the land, he sent for and brought his father and all his brothers and the whole of his father's household, and supported them without a price or reward, and brought the Mitzrayim for slaves. Now therefore, my Adoni, the king, behold, this child has risen up in their stead in Mitzrayim, to do according to their deeds, and to trifle with every king, prince, and judge. If it please the king, let us now spill his blood upon the ground, lest he grow up and take away the government from your hand, and the hope of Mitzrayim perish after he shall have reigned. And Bilam said to the king, Let us, moreover, call for all the judges of Mitzrayim, and the wise men thereof, and let us know if the judgment of death is due to this boy, as you did say. and then we will slay him." And Pharaoh sent and called for all the wise men of Mitzrayim, and they came before the king. And an angel of Yahuwah came amongst them, and he was like one of the wise men of Mitzrayim. And the king said to the wise men, "Surely you have heard what this Ivri boy who is in the house has done, and thus has Bilam judged in the matter. Now judge you also and see what is due to the boy for the act he has committed." And the angel, who seemed like one of the wise men of Pharaoh, answered and said as follows, before all the wise men of Mitzrayim and before the king and the princes, "If it please the king, let the king send for men who shall bring before him an onyx stone and a coal of fire, and place them before the child. And if the child shall stretch forth his hand and take the onyx stone, then shall we know that with wisdom has the youth done all that he has done, and we must slay him. But if he stretches forth his hand upon the coal, then shall we know that it was not with knowledge that he did this thing, and he shall live." And the thing seemed good in the eyes of the king and the princes. So the king did according to the word of the angel of Yahuwah. And the king ordered the onyx stone and coal to be brought and placed before Moshe. And they placed the boy before them, and the lad endeavored to stretch forth his hand to the onyx stone. But the angel of Yahuwah took his hand and placed it upon the coal, and the coal became extinguished in his hand. And he lifted it up and put it into his mouth and burned part of his lips and part of his tongue. And he became heavy in mouth and tongue. And when the king and princes saw this, they knew that Moshe had not acted with wisdom in taking off the crown from the king's head. So the king and princes refrained from slaying the child. So Moshe remained in Pharaoh's house, growing up, and Yahuwah was with him. And while the boy was in the king's house, he was robed in purple, and he grew amongst the children of the king. And when Moshe grew up in the king's house, Bathia, the daughter of Pharaoh, considered him as a son. And all the household of Pharaoh honored him, and all the men of Mitzrayim were afraid of him. And he daily went forth and came into the land of Goshen, where his brethren, the children of Yashar, were. And Moshe saw them daily in shortness of breath and hard labor. And Moshe asked them, saying, "Wherefore is this labor meted out unto you day by day?" And they told him all that had befallen them, and all the injunctions which Pharaoh had put upon them before his birth. And they told him all the counsels which Bilam, the son of Beor, had counseled against them, and what he had also counseled against him in order to slay him when he had taken the king's crown from off his head. And when Moshe heard these things, his anger was kindled against Bilam, and he sought to kill him, and he was in ambush for him day by day. And Bilam was afraid of Moshe, and he and his two sons rose up and went forth from Mitzrayim, and they fled and delivered their souls and betook themselves to the land of Cush, to Kikinas, king of Cush. And Moshe was in the king's house, going out and coming in. Yahuwah gave him favor in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants, and in the eyes of all the people of Mitzrayim. And they loved Moshe exceedingly. And the day arrived when Moshe went to Goshen to see his brethren, that he saw the children of Yasharel in their burdens and hard labor. And Moshe was grieved on their account. And Moshe returned to Mitzrayim and came to the house of Pharaoh and came before the king. And Moshe bowed down before the king. And Moshe said unto Pharaoh, "I pray you, my Adonai, I have come to seek a small request from you. Turn not away my face empty." And Pharaoh said unto him, "Speak." And Moshe said unto Pharaoh, "Let there be given unto your servants the children of Yasharel, who are in Goshen, one day to rest therein from their labor." And the king answered Moshe and said, "Behold, I have lifted up your face in this thing to grant your request." And Pharaoh ordered a proclamation to be issued throughout Mitzrayim and Goshen, saying, "To you, all the children of Yasharel, thus says the king, For 6 days you shall do your work and labor, but on the seventh day you shall rest, and shall not perform any work. Thus shall you do all the days as the king and Moshe the son of Battiah have commanded. And Moshe rejoiced at this thing which the king had granted to him. And all the children of Yasharel did as Moshe ordered them. For this thing was from Yahuwah to the children of Yasharel. For Yahuwah had begun to remember the children of Yasharel, to save them for the sake of their fathers. And Yahuwah was with Moshe, and his fame went throughout Mitzrayim. And Moshe became great in the eyes of all the Mitzrayim, and in the eyes of all the children of Yasharel, seeking good for his people Yasharel, and speaking words of peace regarding them to the king. Chapter 71. And when Moshe was 18 years old, he desired to see his father and mother, and he went to them to Goshen. And when Moshe had come near Goshen, he came to the place where the children of Yasharel were engaged in work. And he observed their burdens, and he saw a Mitzri smiting one of his Ivri brethren. And when the man who was beaten, saw Moshe, he ran to him for help. For the man Moshe was greatly respected in the house of Pharaoh. And he said to him, My Hadani, attend to me. This Mitzri came to my house in the night, bound me, and came to my woman in my presence. And now he seeks to take my life away. And when Moshe heard this wicked thing, his anger was kindled against the Mitzri. And he turned this way and the other. And when he saw there was no man there, he smote the Mitzri and hid him in the sand, and delivered the Ivri from the hand of him that smote him. And the Ivri went to his house, and Moshe returned to his house, and went forth and came back to the king's house. And when the man had returned home, he thought of repudiating his woman, for it was not right in the house of Yaakov for any man to come to his woman after she had been defiled. And the woman went and told her brothers, and the woman's brothers sought to slay him, and he fled to his house and escaped. And on the second day, Moshe went forth to his brethren, and saw, and behold, two men were quarreling. And he said to the wicked one, Why do you smite your neighbor? And he answered him and said to him, Who has set you for a prince and judge over us? Do you think to slay me as you did slay the Mitzri? And Moshe was afraid, and he said, Surely the thing is known. And Pharaoh heard of this affair, and he ordered Moshe to be slain. So Elohim sent his angel, and he appeared unto Pharaoh in the likeness of a captain of the guard. And the angel of Yahuwah took the sword from the hand of the captain of the guard, and took his head off with it. For the likeness of the captain of the guard was turned into the likeness of Moshe. And the angel of Yahuwah took hold of the right hand of Moshe, and brought him forth from Mitzrayim, and placed him from without the borders of Mitzrayim, a distance of 40 days' journey. And Aaron, his brother, alone remained in the land of Mitzrayim. And he prophesied to the children of Yasharel, saying, Thus says Yahuwah Elohim of your ancestors, Throw away each man the abominations of his eyes, and do not defile yourselves with the idols of Mitzrayim. And the children of Yasharel rebelled, and would not hearken to Aaron at that time. And Yahuwah thought to destroy them, were it not that Yahuwah remembered the covenant which he had made with Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. In those days, the hand of Pharaoh continued to be severe against the children of Yasharel, and he crushed and oppressed them until the time when Elohim sent forth his word and took notice of them. Chapter 72. And it was in those days that there was a great war between the children of Cush and the children of the east and Aram, and they rebelled against the king of Cush, in whose hands they were. So Kikianus, king of Cush, went forth with all the children of Cush, a people numerous as the sand, and he went to fight against Aram and the children of the east, to bring them under subjection. And when Kikianus went out, he left Bilam the magician with his 2 sons to guard the city, and the lowest sort of the people of the land. So Kikianus went forth to Aram, and the children of the east, and he fought against them and smote them. And they all fell down wounded before Kikyanus and his people. And he took many of them captives, and he brought them under subjection as at first. And he encamped upon their land to take tribute from them as usual. And Bilam, the son of Beor, when the king of Cush had left him to guard the city and the poor of the city, he rose up and advised with the people of the land to rebel against King Kikyanus, not to let him enter the city when he should come home. And the people of the land hearkened to him, and they swore to him and made him king over them and his 2 sons for captains of the army. So they rose up and raised the walls of the city at the 2 corners, and they built an exceeding strong building. And at the 3rd corner they dug ditches without number between the city and the river, which surrounded the whole land of Cush, and they made the waters of the river burst forth there. At the 4th corner they collected numerous serpents by their incantations and enchantments, and they fortified the city and dwelt therein, and no one went out or in before them. And Kikyanus fought against Aram and the children of the east, and he subdued them as before, and they gave him their usual tribute, and he went and returned to his land. And when Kikyanus the king of Cush approached his city, and all the captains of the forces with him, they lifted up their eyes and saw that the walls of the city were built up and greatly elevated. So the men were astonished at this, and they said one to the other, "It is because they saw that we were delayed in battle and were greatly afraid of us. Therefore have they done this thing and raised the city walls and fortified them so that the kings of Canaan might not come in battle against them." So the king and the troops approached the city door, and they looked up, and behold, all the gates of the city were closed. And they called out to the sentinels, saying, "Open unto us, that we may enter the city." But the sentinels refused to open to them by the order of Bilam the magician, their king. They suffered them not to enter the city, their city. So they raised a battle with them opposite the city gate, and 130 men of the army at Kikyanus fell on that day. And on the next day they continued to fight, and they fought at the side of the river. They endeavored to pass, but were not able. So some of them sank in the pits and died. So the king ordered them to cut down trees to make rafts, upon which they might pass to them, and they did so. And when they came to the place of the ditches, the waters revolved by mills, and 200 men upon 10 rafts were drowned. And on the 3rd day they came to fight at the side where the serpents were, but they could not approach there, for the serpents slew of them 170 men, and they ceased fighting against Cush, and they besieged Cush for 9 years. No person came out or in. At that time that the war and the siege were against Cush, Moshe fled from Mitzrayim from Pharaoh, who sought to kill him for having slain the Mitzri. And Moshe was 18 years old when he fled from Mitzrayim from the presence of Pharaoh, and he fled and escaped to the camp of Kikyanus, which at the time was besieging Cush. And Moshe was 9 years in the camp of Kikyanus, king of Cush, all the time that they were besieging Cush. And Moshe went out and came in with them. And the king and princes and all the fighting men loved Moshe, for he was great and worthy. His stature was like a noble lion. His face was like the sun, and his strength was like that of a lion. And he was counselor to the king. And at the end of 9 years, Kikyanus was seized with a mortal disease, and his illness prevailed over him, and he died on the 7th day. So his servants embalmed him and carried him and buried him opposite the city gate to the north of the land of Mitzrayim. And they built over him an elegant, strong, and high building, and they placed great stones below. And the king's scribes engraved upon these stones all the might of their king Kikyanus, and all his battles which he had fought, Behold, they are written there at this day. Now, after the death of Kikianus, king of Cush, it grieved his men and troops greatly on account of the war. So they said one to the other, give us counsel what we are to do at this time, as we have resided in the wilderness 9 years away from our homes. If we say we will fight against the city, many of us will fall wounded or killed. And if we remain here in the siege, we shall also die. For now all the kings of Aram and of the children of the east will hear that our king is dead, and they will attack us suddenly in a hostile manner, and they will fight against us and leave no remnants of us. Now, therefore, let us go and make a king over us, and let us remain in the siege until the city is delivered up to us. And they wished to choose on that day a man for king from the army of Kikianus. And they found no object of their choice like Moshe to reign over them. And they hastened and stripped off each man his garments and cast them upon the ground. And they made a great heap and placed Moshe thereon. And they rose up and blew with trumpets and called out before him and said, May the king live! May the king live! And all the people and the nobles swore unto him to give him for a woman Adonyahu, the queen, the Cushite, the woman of Kikianus, and they made Moshe king over them on that day. And all the people of Cush issued a proclamation on that day, saying, Every man must give something to Moshe of what is in his possession. And they spread out a sheet upon the heap, and every man cast into it something of what he had, one a gold earring, and the other a coin, also of onyx stone, bdellium pearls, and marble did the children of Cush cast unto Moshe upon the heap, also silver and gold in great abundance. And Moshe took all the silver and gold, all the vessels, and the bdellium and onyx stones, which all the children of Cush had given to him, and he placed them amongst his treasures. And Moshe reigned over the children of Cush on that day, in the place of Kikianus, king of Cush. Chapter 73. In the 55th year of the reign of Pharaoh, king of Mitzrayim, that is in the 157th year of Yasharel, going down into Mitzrayim, reigned Moshe in Cush. Moshe was 27 years old when he began to reign over Cush, and 40 years did he reign. And Yahuwah granted Moshe favor and grace in the eyes of all the children of Cush, and the children of Cush loved him exceedingly. So Moshe was favored by Yahuwah and by men. And in the 7th day of his reign, all the children of Cush assembled and came before Moshe, and bowed down to him to the ground. And all the children spoke together in the presence of the king, saying, Give us counsel that we may see what is to be done to the city. For it is now 9 years that we have been besieging round about the city, and have not seen our children and our women. So the king answered them, saying, If you will hearken to my voice in all that I shall command you, then will Yahuwah give the city into our hands, and we shall subdue it. For if we fight with them as in the former battle, which we had with them before the death of Kikianus, many of us will fall down wounded as before. Now, therefore, behold, here is counsel for you in this matter. If you will hearken to my voice, then will the city be delivered into our hands. So all the forces answered the king, saying, All that our Adonai shall command, that we will do. And Moshe said unto them, Pass through and proclaim a voice in the whole camp unto all the people, saying, Thus says the king, Go into the forest and bring with you of the young ones of the stork, each man a young one in his hand. And any person transgressing the word of the king, who shall not bring his young one, he shall die. And the king will take all belonging to him. And when you shall bring them, they shall be in your keeping. You shall rear them until they grow up, and you shall teach them to dart upon, as is the way of the young ones of the hawk. So all the children of Cush heard the words of Moshe, And they rose up and caused a proclamation to be issued throughout the camp, saying, Unto you, all the children of Cush, the king's order is that you go all together to the forest, and catch there the young storks, each man his young one in his hand. And you shall bring them home. And any person violating the order of the king shall die. And the king will take all that belongs to him. And all the people did so. And they went out to the wood, and they climbed the fir trees and caught each man a young one in his hand. And the young of the storks, all the young of the storks. And they brought them into the desert and reared them by order of the king. And they taught them to dart upon, similar to the young hawks. And after the young storks were reared, the king ordered them to be hungered for 3 days. And all the people did so. And on the third day, the king said unto them, Strengthen yourselves, and become valiant men, and put on each man his armor, and gird on his sword upon him, and ride each man his horse, and take each his young stork in his hand. And we will rise up and fight against the city at the place where the serpents are. And all the people did as the king had ordered. And they took each man his young one in his hand, and they went away. And when they came to the place of the serpents, the king said to them, Send forth each man his young stork upon the serpents. And they sent forth each man his young stork at the king's order. And the king's storks ran upon the serpents, and they devoured them all, and destroyed them out of that place. And when the king and people had seen that all the serpents were destroyed in that place, all the people set up a great shout. And they approached and fought against the city, and took it, and subdued it. And they entered the city. And there died on that day 1,100 men of the people of the city, all that inhabited the city. But of the people besieging, not one died. So all the children of Cush went each to his house, to his home, to his woman and children, and to all belonging to him. And Balaam the magician, when he saw that the city was taken, he opened the gate, and he and his 2 sons and 8 brothers fled and returned to Mitzrayim, to Pharaoh, king of Mitzrayim. They are the sorcerers and magicians who are mentioned in the Cepher of the Torah, standing against Moshe when Yahuwah brought the plagues upon Mitzrayim. So Moshe took the city by his wisdom, and the children of Cush placed him on the throne instead of Kikyanus, king of Cush. And they placed the royal crown upon his head, and they gave him for a woman Adon Yahu, the Cushite queen, woman of Kikyanus. And Moshe feared Yahuwah Elohim of his fathers, so that he came not to her, nor did he turn his eyes to her. For Moshe remembered how Abraham had made his servant Eliezer swear, saying unto him, You shall not take a woman from the daughters of Canaan, from my son Yitzhak. Also, what Yitzhak did when Yaakov had fled from his brother, when he commanded him, saying, You shall not take a woman from the daughters of Canaan, nor make alliance with any of the children of Ham. For Yahuwah Eloheinu gave Ham, the son of Noach, and his children and all his seed, as slaves to the children of Shem, and to the children of Japheth, and unto their seed after them for slaves forever. Therefore Moshe turned not his heart nor his eyes to the woman of Kikyanus all the days that he reigned over Cush. And Moshe feared Yahuwah Eloheinu all his life. And Moshe walked before Yahuwah in truth with all his heart and soul. He turned not from the right way all the days of his life. He declined not from the way either to the right or to the left, in which Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov had walked. And Moshe strengthened himself in the kingdom of the children of Cush, and he guided the children of Cush with his usual wisdom. And Moshe prospered in his kingdom. And at that time Aram and the children of the east heard that Kikyanus king of Cush had died. So Aram and the children of the east rebelled against Cush in those days. And Moshe gathered all the children of Cush, a people very mighty, about 30,000 men, and he went forth to fight with Aram and the children of the east. And they went at first to the children of the east. And when the children of the east heard their report, they went to meet them and engaged in battle with them. And the war was severe against the children of the east. So Yahuwah gave all the children of the east into the hand of Moshe. And about 300 men fell down slain. And all the children of the east turned back and retreated. So Moshe and the children of Cush followed them and subdued them, and put a tax upon them, as was their custom. So Moshe and all the people with him passed from there to the land of Aram for battle. And the people of Aram also went to meet them, and they fought against them. And Yahuwah delivered them into the hand of Moshe. And many of the men of Aram fell down wounded. And Aram also were subdued by Moshe and the people of Cush, and also gave their usual tax. And Moshe brought Aram and the children of the east under subjection to the children of Cush. And Moshe and all the people who were with him turned to the land of Cush. And Moshe strengthened himself in the kingdom of the children of Cush. And Yahuwah was with him, and all the children of Cush were afraid of him. Chapter 74. In the end of years died Shaul, king of Edom, and Baal Hanan, the son of Akbor, reigned in his place. In the 16th year of the reign of Moshe over Cush, Baal Hanan, the son of Akbor, reigned in the land of Edom over all the children of Edom for 38 years. In his days, Moab rebelled against the power of Edom, having been under Edom since the days of Hadad, the son of Bedad, who smote them, and Midian, and brought Moab under subjection to Edom. And when Baal Hanan, the son of Akbor, reigned over Edom, all the children of Moab withdrew their allegiance from Edom. And Angeas, king of Africa, died in those days. And Asdrubal, his son, reigned in his stead. And in those days died Ayanus, king of the children of Kittim. And they buried him in his temple, which he had built for himself in the plain of Canopia for a residence. And Latinus reigned in his stead. In the 22nd year of the reign of Moshe over the children of Cush, Latinus reigned over the children of Kittim 45 years. And he also built for himself a great and mighty tower, and he built therein an elegant temple for his residence, to conduct his government, as was the custom. In the 3rd year of his reign, he caused a proclamation to be made to all his skillful men, who made many ships for him. And Latinus assembled for all his forces, and they came in ships, and went therein to fight with Asdrubal, the son of Angeas, king of Africa. And they came to Africa and engaged in battle with Asdrubal and his army. And Latinus prevailed over Asdrubal. And Latinus took from Asdrubal the aqueduct which his father had brought from the children of Kittim, when he took Yahu, the daughter of Uzi, for a woman. So Latinus overthrew the bridge of the aqueduct, and smote the whole army of Asdrubal, a severe blow. And the remaining strong men of Asdrubal strengthened themselves, and their hearts were filled with envy, and they courted death, and again engaged in battle with Latinus, king of Kittim. And the battle was severe upon all the men of Africa, and they all fell wounded before Latinus and his people. And Asdrubal the king also fell in that battle. And the king Asdrubal had a very beautiful daughter, whose name was Ushpuzena. And all the men of Africa embroidered her likeness on their garments, on account of her great beauty and comely appearance. And the men of Latinus saw Ushpuzena, the daughter of Asdrubal, and praised her unto Latinus their king. And Latinus took Ushpuzena for a woman, and he turned back on his way to Kittim. And it was after the death of Asdrubal, son of Angeas, when Latinus had turned back to his land from the battle, that all the inhabitants of Africa rose up and took Anibal, the son of Angeas, the younger brother of Asdrubal, and made him king instead at his brother, over the whole land of Africa. And when he reigned, he resolved to go to Kittim to fight with the children of Kittim to avenge the cause of Asdrubal, his brother, and the cause of the inhabitants of Africa. And he did so. And he made many ships, and he came therein with his whole army, and he went to Kittim. So Anibal fought with the children of Kittim, and the children of Kittim fell wounded before Anibal and his army. And Anibal avenged his brother's cause. And Anibal continued the war for 18 years with the children of Kittim. And Anibal dwelt in the land of Kittim and encamped there for a long time. And Anibal smote the children of Kittim very severely. And he slew their great men and princes. And of the rest of the people he smote about 80,000 men. And at the end of the days and years, Anibal returned to his land of Africa, and he reigned securely in the place of Asdrubal, his brother. Chapter 75. At that time, in the 180th year of Yasharel going down into Mitzrayim, there went forth from Mitzrayim valiant men, 30,000 on foot, from the children of Yasharel, who were all of the tribe of Yosef, of the children of Ephraim, the son of Yosef. For they said the period was completed which Yahuwah had appointed to the children of Yasharel in the times of old, which he had spoken to Abraham. And these men girded themselves, and they put each man his sword at his side, and every man his armor upon him. And they trusted to their strength, and they went out together from Mitzrayim with a mighty hand. But they brought no provision for the road, only silver and gold. Not even bread for that day did they bring in their hands, for they thought of getting their provisions for pay from the Philistine, and if not, they would take it by force. And these men were very mighty, and valiant men. One man could pursue 1,000, and two could rout 10,000. So they trusted to their strength and went together as they were. And they directed their course toward the land of Gath. And they went down and found the shepherds of Gath feeding the cattle of the children of Gath. And they said to the shepherds, "Give us some of the sheep for pay, that we may eat, for we are hungry. For we have eaten no bread this day." And the shepherds said, "Are they our sheep or cattle, that we should give them to you even for pay?" So the children of Ephraim approached to take them by force. And the shepherds of Gath shouted over them, that their cry was heard at a distance. So all the children of Gath went out to them. And when the children of Gath saw the evil doings of the children of Ephraim, they returned and assembled the men of Gath. And they put on each man his armor, and came forth to the children of Ephraim for battle. And they engaged with them in the valley of Gath, and the battle was severe. And they smote from each other a great many on that day. And on the second day, the children of Gath sent to all the cities of the Philistine that they should come to their help, saying, "Come up unto us and help us, that we may smite the children of Ephraim, who have come forth from Mitzrayim to take our cattle, and to fight against us without cause." Now the souls of the children of Ephraim were exhausted with hunger and thirst, for they had eaten no bread for 3 days. And 40,000 men went forth from the cities of the Philistine to the assistance of the men of Gath. And these men were engaged in battle with the children of Ephraim, and Yahuwah delivered the children of Ephraim into the hands of the Philistine. And they smote all the children of Ephraim, all who had gone forth from Mitzrayim. None were remaining, but 10 men who had run away from the engagement. For this evil was from Yahuwah against the children of Ephraim, for they transgressed the word of Yahuwah in going forth from Mitzrayim before the period had arrived, which Yahuwah in the days of old had appointed to Yasharel. And of the Philistine also there fell a great many, about 20,000 men, and their brethren carried them and buried them in their cities. And the slain the children of Ephraim remained forsaken in the valley of Gath for many days and years, and were not brought to burial. And the valley was filled with men's bones. And the men who had escaped from the battle came to Mitzrayim, and told all the children of Yasharel all that had befallen them. And their father Ephraim mourned over them for many days, and his brethren came to console him. And he came unto his woman, and she bore a son, and he called his name Beriah, for she was unfortunate in his house. That is the end of chapter 75. Psalms, Tehilliym, chapter 77. To the chief musician, to Yeduthan, a mizmor of Asaph, I cried unto Elohim with my voice, even unto Elohim with my voice, and he gave ear unto me. In the day of my trouble I sought Adonai. My sore ran in the night and ceased not. My soul refused to be comforted. I remembered Elohim and was troubled. I complained, and my ruach was overwhelmed. Selah. You hold my eyes waking. I am so troubled that I cannot speak. I have considered the days of old, the years of ancient times. I call to remembrance my song in the night. I commune with my own heart, and my ruach made diligent search. Will Yahuwah cast off forever? And will he be favorable no more? Is his mercy clean, gone forever? Does his promise fail forevermore? Has El forgotten to be gracious? Has he in anger shut up his tender mercies? Selah. And I said, this is my infirmity, but I will remember the years of the right hand of El Elyon. I will remember the works of Yah. Surely I will remember your wonders of old. I will meditate also of all your work and talk of your doings. Your way, O Elohim, is in the sanctuary. Who is so great an El as our Elohim? You are the El that does wonders. You have declared your strength among the people. You have with your arm redeemed your people, the sons of Yaakov and Yosef, Selah. The waters saw you, O Elohim. The waters saw you. They were afraid. The depths also were troubled. The clouds poured out the water. The skies sent out a sound, for your arrows also went abroad. The voice of your thunder was in heaven. The lightnings lightened the world. The earth trembled and shook. Your way is in the sea, and your path in the great waters, and your footsteps are not known. You led your people like a flock by the hand of Moshe and Aaron. Hallelujah. Praise the Father, Yahuwah. Thank you so much for this time. Thank you for following along. And may this be a blessing to you, and may it honor our Father, the one and only true El, Yahuwah, Yahweh. Thank you for this time again, and I pray this is a blessing to you, and continue to read, study, follow along, but stay in the Word. And so I will see you in the next reading. Shalom.